Thank you so much for joining me again on this free tutorial. I will be demonstrating how to create this gorgeous, colorful, whimsical card using stamp collection sea-Fari by Belinda Bassan. I hope you'll enjoy the tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel for additional tutorials, and even better if you can like and share it with your friends. I appreciate your support very much, and also you can go to my website www.creative-treasures.com and register to the news list, and you can get news when I have more upcoming tutorials to share with you. I'll see you soon. Bye and enjoy. The materials that you needed are Belinda Bassan's Safari stamp set by Funky Fossil. I'll be using the 2 fish elements and the coral or the sea plant there. Catherine Puller dye inks, 5 warm colors, 5 cool colors, and 1 gray shade. Also black ink. You need a white gel pen, some white cardstock, and of course scissors and ink dabbers, and of course glue. First, prepare your materials. Start by gathering all your materials. You'll need 3 pieces of 5.5 by 8.5 of heavy cardstock, which will be dyed in different shades. Choose your colors. Warm shades are pink, red, yellow. Cool shades are the aquas, greens, and yellows, with touches of pink and magenta. First, take your first piece of cardstock and dye it in warm shades. Use your ink blending tool to apply the colors, starting from the bottom and blending upwards. Repeat the process with the second piece, using aqua, green, and yellow. Use a very light touch of pink and magenta to blend with the other shades. For the third piece, use green and gray shades. Blend in brighter colors on top to add depth and variation. I'm also adding a little bit of yellow and gray. And a little bit of turquoise and gray. The third step, stamp the fish images. Using the Safari stamp set, stamp the fish images onto the dyed cardstock. For the first set of fish, use dark magenta ink. For the second set, experiment with greens and blues. You can use black ink if you prefer for more defined look. Continue stamping fish images across your cardstock, varying the colors and positions. This is the second fish stamp. Here I used some aquas and some purples, and of course black for more definition. If you happen to make a stamp that is not 100%, it's still okay, because you can still use a part of it for your composition, because you'll be cutting out those images anyway. In the third set, I'm using the greenery. This is the plant that goes inside the ocean. So I don't know how many I will be using here, but I'm still stamping a few in various ink colors. Next, I will be taking small hearts that I have in the set, and I'm just going to use various colors of the ink, and I'm going to ink it in the areas where I still have some room left. I will not use all of them, but since I'm not going to be using this anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stamp it there. I can always just take it and use it in another project, or even you take one and put it on the envelope. That's cute too. Now go ahead and prepare the base of your card. It is 7.5 by 5.5 inches. So you take 10 inches by 7.5, you score it at the middle, and then you have your card. Using the ink blending tool, lightly apply the ink to the center of the page. Pick up the ink from your glass surface and then blend it into your cardstock. Apply the ink unevenly to create patches, giving the background a sense of movement. Choose one color for the background to keep the fish as the focal point. So I'm using a turquoise blue for that. Then I'm going to take my images and play around with the composition. I have three main elements. I have two fish and the coral or the plant. So I'm going to put one on the top right corner, one on the bottom left corner, and I'm going to position the plant in between. So right now I'm just stamping the images at the area where I want them to go, and I'm going to be stamping more than one coral image or more than one plant to give an illusion that the whole bottom part of my composition has plants in it, not just one. I'm taking the second fish, I'm inking it with gray ink, and then I'm going to place that on the bottom. Note how I'm making their head go up a little bit and not straight. And then the main plant image will go at the center. Now step 6 is to cut out the fish. I'm going to cut out the stamped fish images. Each fish will be layered with at least 5 layers. Start by cutting the entire fish for the first layer. For the subsequent layers, cut different parts: the body, the tail, the head, and the fins. You will be layering the pieces from back to front, ensuring each layer is cut from a different piece of dyed cardstock. So this is the first layer that I'm cutting out. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using it or not, but this is the first piece. I'm trying to make sure that the fins on the top will have a little bit of spaces in between to allow the background color to come through. And now I'm going to go around and cut more images, and I'm going to be removing parts of the fish as I'm cutting it. Some will have just the fins, some of them will have a body and a tail, some will just have a head. So be considerate of the pieces that you have stamped. You do want to do a little bit of color blocking so that it will show the difference in the color shading as you apply the layers together. As you begin to assemble the fish, use small foam squares with double adhesive to attach the layers together. Ensure each layer is well stamped and shows the details over the colors. The first layer should be a complete fish. For the second layer, exclude the top fin. The third layer should be the body, excluding small parts. The fourth layer will be the body with additional fins. And the fifth layer will be the head. Before gluing, assemble your fish to see which arrangement works best. Attach the part closest to your eye last. Ink the edges of the fish with dark black ink. Add shadows to the bottom part of the fish image on your card, leaving a small overlay for depth. Now go ahead and assemble the second fish. Repeat the cutting and layering process for the second fish. Start with a full fish image. For the second layer, remove the head and one fin. For the third layer, cut the body without the fins and the tail, and then continue layering as needed. Ink the edges and put the layers together using square foam, as same way as you did the first fish. Just to remind you that to be mindful of which piece you're cutting out of which stamp image, because you also want to be mindful about the colors that each of those images have. You do want the colors to differentiate between the different parts and make sense. Ink the edges and put the layers together using foam squares the same way as you've done with the first fish. On this particular image, I'm also going to add some foam squares to the first layer, which I have not done with the first fish, because this one has 4 layers and the first one had 5, and I want them to be all on the same height, so I'm adding additional layer with foam squares to this one. My third element is the green that will be in the center, at the center of the card. So notice that I cannot go all the way into all the crevices of the stamp, but if I have a large enough crevice, I am going inside and I'm creating a little bit of a space there so that I can allow the background, the blue background, to come through the plant. I'm going to go ahead and add a touch of the same blue or a little bit aqua blue to my plant because I want it to blend better with the background. And I'm adding more to the background as well because I'm making some adjustments. I needed a little bit more color there, and I can go ahead and go back after I have all of my elements placed to make those kind of adjustments. Now I'm going to go and take my blue color, my green color, and put it as a background to my sentiment. Again, I'm just using patches of it. I'm not inking that piece too much, just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges and trim the edges and round the corners a little bit. I'm using the dark ink, and I'm going to put square foams there to raise that also from the base of my card. I'm going to apply it to the top left corner, and that will balance the images. So here I'm applying more dark background shading under the fish and behind where my plant is going to be. So note I'm putting a lot of dark there, but it's going to be hidden because I'm going to put the fish there, and all you're going to see is just a little bit of that shadow behind my elements. So this is one part of my plant that I'm applying, and then I'm going to put the fish over that and the other fish on the other side. And now I want to put another part for that plant on top of that as well. So it'll give an illusion that the plant is actually three-dimensional and the fish head is actually in between the leaves of that plant. So I'm taking another piece of the stamp that I have, and I'm going to apply that too. Oh, here in between I just took my white gel pen and added some highlights. I'm sorry, it is off the order that I usually do things, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and take scissors to the few hearts that I stamped earlier. I'm only going to cut 3 of them. The rest I might save it for another project, or if you're doing an envelope, it's really cute to just add it and seal the envelope with one of those hearts. I do that sometimes when I have leftover elements. It's really cute. Okay, so now I'm realizing that I want to put something else here. I'm applying a little bit of dark ink there for the background, and I'm going to cut that second piece of plant to put over the center element there. So just half of a plant, not the whole thing, similar to how I did the fish. And I'm going to put that right there at the center. Don't forget to ink. Now that piece goes a little bit over that fish's head, and it will give the illusion that the fish is in between the leaves of the plant. And that's it. It is all finished. Creating this colorful fish-themed card involved several steps, but the end result is a vibrant and dynamic piece of art. Experiment with different colors and arrangements to make your card unique and beautiful. Happy crafting!